Alright, in this video I'm going to show you guys an amazing pattern. What year would Jesus have been crucified? Scholars have provided estimates in the range 30 to 33 AD, with Rainer Resner stating that the 14th of Nisan, 7th of April, of the year 30 AD is apparently, in the opinion of the majority of contemporary scholars as well, far and away the most likely date of the crucifixion of Jesus. 30 AD, guys. Okay, that's why Agenda 2030, because if you go 2,000 years from 30 AD, you come to 2030 AD. That's 40 Jubilees. Jesus wandered the desert for 40 days. Israel was in the desert for 40 days, and then 40 years. Then it went to 40 Jubilees. Okay, guys? Now look at this. In what year was Saul of Tarsus? That's the Apostle Paul. His name was Saul before. When was he converted? 33 AD. The conversion of Saul, his spiritual birth, Saul requests and receives from the high priest permission to go to search for those who believe in the Lord Jesus. He converted 3 years after. Do you know what he did for those 3 years? He persecuted the Christians, had them locked up and killed. Do you know what Saul of Tarsus was, who is now the Apostle Paul? He was a type and shadow of the Antichrist. For how long? 3.5 years. Do you see that pattern? Look at this. How old was Paul when he started his ministry? When Paul first appeared in Acts at the stoning of Stephen, he was probably about 30 years old. That's the same age as Jesus when he started his ministry. Patterns, guys. And had already become an acknowledged leader in Judaism. See his pattern? And look at, how long was Paul blinded for? When he got saved, 3 days. 3 days of darkness. But it was actually extrapolated to 3 years of darkness, because Paul's life was 3 years of darkness before this, persecuting the church. And like I've showed you in my videos before, this 3 years is 2026, 2027, and 2028. You can look in the Strong's Concordance to verify this. And under the years 2026, 27, and 28, it is slaughter, slaughter, and slaughter. But you know what else it is? If you look at those years in the Hebrew years, 5786, 5787, and 5788, it's blind, blind, and blind. Patterns, guys. It's all repeating patterns. And then 2029 is when Christ comes back. You might say, well, I thought it was 30 AD. Yeah, but he cuts the time short. Remember in Matthew 24, he says, if I didn't cut the time short, there'd be no flesh left. Well, that's what he's talking about. And our rapture is in 2025. The man-child is caught up. And then the dragon goes after the remnant of the seed of the woman. 42 months. It's all a repeating pattern. So that time of Jesus' ministry from 26 or 27 AD to 30 AD is now going to be the time of the Antichrist ministry. It's a repeat pattern. You see the folly of these guys these days is they're looking at a 7-year thing with the Antichrist, and that doesn't make any sense. Jesus got 3.5 years, give or take. The Antichrist gets 3.5 years, give or take. And that's Jacob's trouble. That's not the bride. That's not the bride's trouble. That's going to be Jacob's trouble. And like I said before, 2025 BC is when Isaac, who is a picture of Jesus, marries Rebecca. That's a mirror. 2025 AD, us and Christ. See that? Yeah.